Hello, welcome to another track guide. This week it is Bathurst, Mount Panorama. Um, One of the hardest ones to master and one of the easiest ones to get wrong, all in one track. I've seen that over the last few days, last week, that I've gained quite a few new followers. A lot of people seem to enjoy my Monza track guides. So, again, thank you for all the wonderful comments that I've been getting and all the help that you've been getting from these track guides. Each one means the world, and I do read every comment. So, please, if it's helped you, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I read everything, and I really appreciate all the nice words people have been saying. I just wanted to get that out there now. And yeah, we'll get into what is a wonderful track once you get used to it. It's actually really fun, but it can really bite you when you least expect it. So, we're going to get ourselves ready for the lap. So, our braking point is going to be sort of just after this first line here, but before that one. So, there's the braking point. We're going to be on 100% throttle before we hit this, or just as we hit it, and that's about right, really. The old McLaren used to start braking here and then go in, but because of the speed you're carrying now, especially if you have a low wing setup like I do for this lap, you anything later than being 100% braker by that point, then it's too late. Get yourself turned in, stay in second, run it out onto the curb, but don't go any further than that. If you go a little bit further to the right, you bounce up and down and you've killed your lap, and before it's even started. Now for braking for turn 1, we're going to be using the change between this coloured boarding and this coloured boarding, and we're going to use that line there. So as you feel yourself pull up next to it, we're going to start applying the brake. So pulling up next to it, get onto the brake, down into second, and you can see here the track is a lot higher there than it is here, which means it dips a lot. So you want to try and keep your left wheel as close to this curb without hitting it as much as possible, because it really, like, the car dips in and you can slingshot out of it and get an optimum line onto the straight. So you see it dips, and power out, maximise the track, and then straight line it up to the next corner. Use this time to gather your thoughts on how fun the next 60 seconds is about to be. So, braking for here, you've got this marker here. Well, you've got the whole slip road, but you've got that point there and that point there. Now, I would recommend starting with this one and then working your way up to maybe ending at this one. I think I use about halfway through. Yeah, I'm starting to get on. I've missed the first bit, but I'm going to be on. Yeah, I'm on full brake as I hit the second one. You can try beginning to brake at the second one, but for me personally, it's just a little bit too late. But yeah, you're going to apply the brake. Remember, this is uphill, so any brake you apply is emphasised by the hill as well. So you can come off the brake a lot earlier than you realise. So I'm already off the brake here, and then what I've said in previous videos about remembering where your apexes are, like the apex for this corner isn't much, like you're sort of already at it, and you want to be getting on the power as soon as you can possibly can. Like, remember to keep your car tucked into this corner. Don't hit the curb, but you want to be sort of following the corner around, because again, look at this. Look at this, like, curve you've got. You can use the track to your advantage here, and get on the power and run it all the way out. Be careful of applying too much steering at this point, because you can find that the rear comes from behind you as the weight transfers, and you can crash. You'll probably find that whilst you're doing your practice. So you want to keep your steering inputs nice and smooth. But yeah, run it out to the wall all the way. Now, here, I use this little runoff area here as my point turn in for this corner. So try it yourself and see what works for you, but that's what I use. So as we get to it, I'm beginning to turn in. Make sure you hit that, hit the apex of the corner, and then as you straighten up, brake. So I'll show you in one. I'll show you this part in one full section. Right, let's break it down. So get your turn in, hit that apex, straight line brake, stay in second, and then you're going to try and hug. You're going to try and carry as much minimum speed through this corner, hug the corner, and get on the power early, so that you can again slingshot out of the corner and then maximise the track on the exit. Here, I mean, there's a little bit of correction there from me as the weight transfers over, a little bit of correction, stay out of the wall, and then we're on our way up. Be careful of touching these curbs when you go up the hill here, because I'm in TC1, so any little bit of slip and the wheels are spinning up, and you know what happens when your wheels spin up on one side of the car, it's going to drag you in, or you can lose speed. So be careful of this bit and the next corner, but send it over, run it all the way out to the edge, and then we're going to start our turning for this corner really early, because you need to get it turned in early. You can't be waiting until you're up there, otherwise you're going to have to be lifting, and you're going to be making all sorts of mistakes and getting yourself all over the place. But we're beginning to turn now. So here's your turning point, really early. Dodge this curb, 100% dodge this curb. Worst case is that you actually tap it and it forces you out to the left and then you smack the wall. That's worst case. Best case is that the wheels just spin up a little bit and you lose some of your speed up the hill. So yeah, you want to be dodging this, or at least the tiniest of kisses, like I do here, is fine. So kiss the curb there, and then run it out to the left, and then follow it round. Now this is where it starts to get, like, you thought that was hard. It's starting to get a little bit more tricky now. So keep it in the middle of the road, and then we're going to aim for this part here. So as the line disappears, there's a lot of tarmac here, and it's going to dip. As it dips, you're aiming for the dip, and as soon as you hit it, you're steering left. And that is going to allow you to stay full throttle all the way through this section. There's the dip, turn, dodge this curb. Again, I mean, I get on it a little bit, but you want to be dodging it because it can push you out to the wall. So I kissed it a little bit. And you see how far my steering input there. Look at my steering input. It's just turning left constantly. It's keeping at roughly the same distance, and look how close you get to the wall. Like, you're very close. Any kiss of that extra curb, any extra of that, you're running out to here. So run it out, and for this bit, you're going to be beginning your turn. Look, I'm beginning to turn as I crest the hill. Now, this lap in particular, I take way too much curb than what's comfortable. Now, you see me, I have to make a little snap correction. You want to not take as much, but experiment. So I'm just going to play this whole section through, just so you can see. As I hit the dip, there's the dip. Beginning my turn over the hill, little lift, over. There's the snap correction. So run it out to the wall, begin your turn before you crest over the hill, because the car will go light, and as it lands you want to already be steering to the left, otherwise it's too late. So here we go, and I'm beginning to lift. I'm not fully off the throttle. I've hit that curb way too hard, and I'm going to pay for it here where the car goes light. So here's my little correction, and then we're going to get ourselves back over to the left, for the downhill section. Like that was all the difficult bits, and now it remains at the same difficulty, just going downhill instead. So as you get to this little news, the seven news sign, just before it, we're gonna smack the brakes just a little bit, as you'll see. So I smacked it. It wasn't even up to 100%, it was just a little tap, and it's going to help the car stay stable on the way down. So I'll play it through in one bit all the way to the dipper. Right. So, a little smack of the brake here. And then you're gonna try and get as close to this wall on the right hand side. I could have got a little bit further closer, sorry. And then you're gonna get over this curb. I'll talk the braking. Talk about the braking. So, smack of the brake here, then on the brake for the straight bit. So, for this downhill section, every time you go straight, brake, or if you're putting minimum steering inputs in, brake. If you're doing it through the turn, like the harder turning bits, the car's going to come from around you and you're going to spin. As when you see a lot of people spin at this point, it means they've turned the wheel way too much and they're braking when they're turning through the turning bits. And you'll see that I come off the brake each time I'm going to do some heavy turning. So smack the brake, turn, straighten up, brake, I'm turning again, so I'm off the brake, straightening up, back on the brake, and then I'm turning again, off the brake. Each time the car straightened up, I applied the brake, and then every time I went to go turn the wheel, I either trailed off the brake or I was already off it. So I hope that helps you get down, because that's the best way I can explain it. So, smack the brake, touch the white wall, well, don't actually touch it, but get close, full on the brake, come off the brake to turn, back on the brake here, again, as close to the wall as possible, little bit of throttle, we don't want to scrub too much speed off, and then for the dipper, you want to turn before you actually get to the dipper, because your car's going to go light at the front, and again, as you land, you want to be turning left. Same as at the top of the hill. As you land, you want to be turning left. So here we go. Smack the ground. You're already turning left. Back on the throttle as soon as you get through there, and just maximise the track. Run it all the way out. Again, this bit here, you want to be turning before you make it. Before you make it to the corner. And then my turning point, to be fair, is just after. As I know I've gone round the Marshall bit there, there's a little grate on the floor, begin to turn as you hit that grate, hug it, and then there's a little grate on the floor that I use for my braking point. So I hope I can get it frozen. Yep. So that grate there, little grate on the floor, I use that as my braking point. So I'm getting onto the brake now. Keep it straight. If you apply, ideally you want to be following this track round, this part of the track round, and then slingshot down. That's an ideal world. What's probably going to happen is what is happening here. You brake, and it's going to try and push you out to this wall as much as possible, and you've got to fight it. If you fight it too much, your car's going to do this, and you're going to be doing that all the way into this wall. You're going to have a bad time. But there's another dip here as well. You can't see it. It doesn't show up here. But what I recommend is getting on the brake, coming off the brake immediately, and then immediately getting back on it. So for me there, you heard the tyres lock at the back. So you hear that little bit there? The tyres locked, which meant that I didn't do what I'm telling you to do. So do as I say, not as I do. Like this lap was very scuffed, and it's still a 59.7. So I'm just trying to show you that you can actually do fast laps here as long as you carry that speed. So just to recap, brake at that grate, keep it in a straight line, lift off the brake here, and then get back on it. and it will help you get slowed down a lot better than what's happening right now, and you're less likely to lock the wheels as well. As you come round, you want to be tucking into this wall, into this Bentley wall as much as possible, and as you hit, see this bit here, it's a little bit taller sideboards. As you're hitting the taller bit, power out to the outside wall here. We're going to touch it ever so slightly, like there's a little knock there. Didn't scrub any time off or anything. It was so minuscule that it didn't register as a hit, which is lucky. Normally it's not great. So just there's a little hit. You don't want to do that, but that you won't do that if you have a better line through that corner. So if you go a little bit further right to slingshot left out. Now obviously we're going to smash our way through the gears. It's going to be top speed all the way. Maximise the track here, hit that apex, and then our braking point is going to be just after the 150. Sometimes you can make it so that it's halfway. I used to go 100 and the 150 and then brake halfway up, but we're going to do it just after, so sort of like 130, 140, that's something like that. So there's the brake going on, and we're going to hit. We're going to stay in second, and we're going to hit this curb and then get on the power. And I'm going to explain this. So we're braking, we're staying in second. You want to get on the power at this left-hander. You see, I'm already starting to apply throttle here on the left. So there's the throttle on the left-hand side, and that's going to allow the car to stay gripped up on the power all the way around. If you're getting on the power as you hit the right bit, it's too late. And we're going to hit this curb. Ideally, you want to kiss it a little bit and not hit it as much as I do, but it's not too bad how I get on with it. And you're hitting it because it's going to force the weight of the car onto the right hand side, and as you're powering, as you're getting on the power, the weight is on the right hand side, and it's going to allow the car to grip on those right tyres rather than spin you out, and you spin out and you go over to the grass here. It's going to allow you to grip up on this right hand side and just go, rather than losing traction on the tarmac. So yeah, kiss this curb and get on that power on this left hander, and then just follow it all the way around to the right. Follow the corner round, maximise the track, coming up to the end of the lap, and again there's a 100-metre board, and we're going to be braking just after. So there's one marker, there's that, there's the other one, and we're going to be braking just about here, so that we're on 100% brake by the time we hit the second one. Get your turn in, and then power on at the apex, like I keep telling you. Get it up on that curb, straight line over the line, and your lap is done. And that is it. I'm just going to load up the video for the pit entry, because again it's a bit of a tricky pit entry and it's not a very long pit lane. But yeah, I'll get that up for you now and talk to you about the pit lane. Right, so we've got the video up for the pit lane. You're going to follow this corner around as you normally would, and then begin your entry into the pit lane. Best way I can explain it is you're going to be getting on the power. I forgot to load my HUD up for this video, so I apologise. But you're going to be getting on the brake just after the one. You've got the 150 marker there, and then you've got this little corner indentation here, and it's going to be in between. It's going to be in between that. After that, before this. There's the braking. and then just smack it over these curbs, and then as you reach that point there, you can full throttle once you get around that little corner. You can full throttle up until you hit here, and then just slam on the brakes, get on the pit limiter, and there's your pit entry. So I'll just show you in one foul swoop. And that is your lot. I really hope you found this guide interesting and useful. I hope it's improving your lap times. Leave me a comment, let me know if it is. Leave a like, all that jazz. I'm going to play the whole lap for you to see, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. It'll be within a matter of days because I've got Suzuka. I've done a lap on there already, so yeah, be banging that Suzuka lap on the channel and the track guide for it very shortly after. So yeah, see you in the next one, guys, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers.